So now in the inbound over to Warren. Already a little bit of a half-court defense by Hofstra, but it's not as big. And Warren trying to fight it out, gets it over to Gonzalez. And we have a shifting. That's a traveling call against Gigi Gonzalez. And it looks like that's going to give Hofstra a lot of momentum to use the half-court defense throughout a large portion of the game. It'll be back to Hofstra ball. Jacini Knight inside to Hines. On the left wing, she'll get it out to her right now for Knight. Knight getting it lost in translation on the pass, and Pagan gets the steal. Well, that's how defense, as I said, is a big factor in this game, and 3 of the 5 starters from last year coming back, it could be another big season for the Seawolves. So Vargas Reyes going inside to Pagan, the right lane almost lost it. She'll take a long jumper, got it. And the Pagan with her great physique, looking better than she did the last time she was at home. And it's a 7-2 lead for Stony Brook as Pagan's up to 4 points. So it's Nicholson with the ball in the right wing, guarded by Warren. She'll move over to the left, over to Knight. Knight looking to go inside. She'll move back out to the top. Warren trying to move around her. She'll go over to Nicholson. She'll going to the right elbow. She'll go inside to Henry on a layup and it bounces around and in. Contact was almost made, but there was no foul called. And Pride able to respond back for Jala Henry's first points of the game. 7-4 lead for the Seawolves. Gonzalez in the right wing now. She'll go to the left for Vargas Reyes. She'll go to her left for Warren. Warren looking inside in the right lane. Trying to go like a contested layup air ball, but Pagan gets it over to Gonzalez. Gonzalez inside. Contested layup, and she gets hit on the play. And then sends Gonzalez to the free throw line. Well, for Gigi Gonzalez, she should probably be a little more careful. And as I said on Tuesday, she left the game for a little while because of an injury. She got 2 points on a long jumper against the Jaspers. And she'll look to try and match that as that was the second foul called against Nicholson. So Gigi Gonzalez going to the free throw line. She hasn't gotten any yet. She hasn't got for any free throw attempts yet this year. This will be her first of the season. First free throw is up and rolls in. Gigi Gonzalez already is currently averaging over 1.3 points per game. She's a pretty good bench warmer in the sophomore from Miramar. Second free throw off the back iron, no good. She goes 1 of 2, and it's a 2-score lead for the Seawolves. And Nicholson to her left now for Hines. Hines guarded by Zeiss, trying to move inside, going into 13 for the layup, and it's good. And number 13, that was Zahima Swift, the freshman from Newark. And not a lot of separation that she had to worry about, and it's 8-6 Stony Brook. So Gonzalez will take the ball now at the right wing. She'll go into her left now for Pagan, tipped away and picked up by Swift. No, we have a foul call, and it's against Stony Brook. It almost looked like Pagan was about to pick it back up, but unfortunately, she is not able to, and Hofstra will get the ball back. Hofstra had a lot of good looks against the Great Danes on Friday, and that's what allowed them to get pretty much a huge win. I mean, it was huge. And then 2 days later, UAlbany gets an upset win over the Seton Hall Pirates. And we have a substitution as Erlet Scott checks in for Gigi Gonzalez. So this may seem like Isaiah Dingle is not going to be able to play today. And we'll probably find out why in a little while. So now we have Knight with the ball at the top, guarded by Scott. She'll move over to the left now for Henry. Henry trying to go inside. She gets it over to Hines. Contested layup is missed. Swift trying to pick up the rebound, and Boucher lets it go out of bounds, but she was the last to touch it. She couldn't be able to save it. And she's also another substitution. She comes in for India Pagan. Boucher had 10 points off the bench. Looked really well against the Jaspers too. So Hofstra once again with the ball. Knight moving it. She'll go over to the right now. Move over to the top. And we have a foul called away from the ball, and it's against Stony Brook. Actually, no, it will be against Hofstra. An offensive foul. I didn't see the ref signal right there, but it is another turnover. Both teams are at the half court. The refs are talking this one over. They're trying to see what it is. Initial call was an offensive foul against Hofstra. And they're changing the call. It's against Stony Brook. Caroline McCombs doesn't seem very happy. I'm not sure why it was that. That will send Zahima Swift to the free throw line to try and tie the game. Both teams are already over the limit. Every foul is a trip to the free throw line for both teams. Swift, averaging 5 points per game in her first few games of the year in her collegiate career with the Pride, had a career-high 6 points in the loss to Fairfield. In high school, she was number 7 ranking and had a county title. She was also NJ.com All-Group 1 first team after averaging 9.3 points per game in her senior year at University High School. First free throw from Swift is up and rolls in and out, no good. And when I say number 7 ranking, University High School was the 7th best team it was the 7th best high school basketball team in the country. And that's where Swift came from. Now she'll go for a second free throw. It's up and it's in. She goes 1 of 2, and Hofstra crawls back to within 1. Once again, half-court pressure by the Pride. Scott getting the inbound from Warren. Moving over to the left for Warren, about to get double teamed. She gets across the court to Zeiss. Over to Boucher. She'll move it out to right wing to Erlet Scott, being out the pressure. She'll move it over. She'll get it to Warren now. She'll set up at the top. Knight guarding her. She'll move it to the right to Boucher. To her right for Scott. Try to go inside. She gets it to Zeiss. Zeiss going inside to Boucher. And we have a foul called against the Pride. And it'll be Mackenzie Boucher's turn to head to the free throw line. As she was the one who had possession of the ball during that moment. So 4:07 left to go. Stony Brook's up 8-7. Both teams are in the bonus. And it'll be Mackenzie Boucher shooting free throws. Her first one is up and in. Bouncing inside the net or off the rims. And it takes a little time as Boucher is on the board. Straight up for a second free throw. It's good. She connects on both. And it's a 10-7 lead for the Seawolves. Another substitution as Jalen Hines will check out. And in comes Vanderly Valcourt. She was with the team last year but did not play against the Seawolves due to injury. She is currently averaging 6.5 points per game. So Jacini Knight with the ball to left wing, guarded well by Scott. Trying to move it inside, going over to the left elbow, going over to her right, out now to Brown. Brown getting in trouble. She gets it over to Swift. She's in trouble too. Boucher had to go backcourt to Valcourt, but she lost control of the ball. That goes out of bounds, and it'll be back to Stony Brook. That, as I said right there, pressure really forced a lot of errant throws in which Hofstra could not get control of the ball. And so it'll be going back to the Seawolves. Anastasia Warren will cross the timeline now. She is waiting to get on the board too. She's moving over to the left wing, trying to move inside to the right, going out to Vargas Reyes. She'll take a 3 on the top, and it's good! Another shot from deep for number 13, and it's a 13-7 lead for the Seawolves. Narimar Vargas Reyes is already up to 6 points on the day. Now Jacini Knight with the ball, and we have a timeout called again on Hofstra. Jacini Knight couldn't really find anybody there, and it's a 30-second timeout. But Narimar Vargas Reyes, who has experience playing with India Pagan in a few years ago in the FIBA 2018 Women's America's Championship, and already she's really stepping up big. She has only had 2 points. She's only had a few points to start off the year, and against Manhattan, she had 2 points as well. She got them off a free throw, similar to how she did in her first game of the season with Stony Brook, where she went 1 of 3 from the free throw line, and that was it. But 2 of her shots so far have come from deep, and she's really proving herself to be quite an experienced three-point shooter. She may come from Florida Southwestern, which is a D2 team, but the fact that she's been able to play this many games in the D1 has shown that her experience has really started to take shape. So at a 30-second timeout, Hofstra with the ball. Knight looking for the inbound. Under the bucket inside to Henry, and we have a foul called, and the 2 points will count. And the foul is called against Warren, who fouled out of the game on Tuesday. And so it will be Jala Henry heading to the free throw line. Henry is a 79% free throw shooter, had a career-high 15 points in the loss to Fairfield. She averages 9.5 points per game in her career. It was a number 16 ranking by ESPN coming into Pittsburgh. Free throw is good. She completes the three-point play, and it's back to a 3-point lead for Stony Brook. So Hofstra with the ball, Stony Brook with the ball. Warren going across to Boucher, trying to get over to Vargas Reyes, who looked like she was about to be wide open under the bucket. But Stony Brook will take the foul, as it was called against. Its foul was called against Zahima Swift, and that's her first. 6'3" center from Newark, New Jersey. So Boucher going back to the free throw line. It's perfect on her last time up. And she misses her first on the back iron. Warren moving towards her Stony Brook bench, looking to get instructions from one of the assistant head coaches. Second free throw, it's good. Stony Brook with white uniforms today. Their names and numbers are in red. While for Hofstra, their uniforms are blue with their names and numbers in yellow. 14-10 lead for the Seawolves with 3:06 to go in the first quarter. Henry with the ball trying to go inside to Swift. She misses a separation from Boucher, but she misses the layup. But number 23 picks up the rebound for her. Henry trying to get it over to Zahima Swift, and we have a double dribble called, and that will be against Hofstra. It's another turnover on Hofstra, and that's their 6th. Zahima Swift fortunately bounced the ball with both of her hands. Stony Brook able to force turnovers. That's kept them up in this game. So Warren will move it across the court. She'll go over to Scott in the right wing. Scott getting double team, gets it over to Warren. She'll move it inside the right wing. Trying to go in for a layup. She misses, but she'll head to the free throw line. She is able to draw the foul. And 3 of the 5 players on Hofstra right now currently have 1 foul each. And make that Zahima Swift with her 2nd foul. After she got the last 3 points for Hofstra, Warren will head to the free throw line, and she'll look to get herself on the board for the first time today as well. Warren's first free throw is up, and it's good. Anastasia Warren, one of the best starters from last year, returning for Stony Brook, led the team in both tournament games in the America East last year. Part of the huge wins that nearly got to the America East Championship, as Warren connects on the 2nd free throw. She's on the board with 2 points, and it's a 16-10 lead for this. And it's a 16-10 lead Stony Brook with 2:35 to go in the first quarter. Now Hofstra with the ball. Brown trying to go inside. She'll take a long 3 off the rim, no good. And Warren will let it go out of bounds, and they'll get the ball back. Hofstra trying to work on their 3-point shooting. They are 22% themselves. So they're not as hot as so they're not really working hot from deep usually. Stony Brook doesn't go too much from deep as well, but their 2 3-pointers has come from Vargas Reyes. So speaking of which, she has the ball. She'll move to the left wing for Scott. Scott over to Warren, left corner. She'll move it to the left now. Fires over to Scott. Scott with 10 left to shoot. She'll move it back to Warren, left wing. She'll try to move it inside. Gets it over to Boucher, taking a floater. Got it! Great assistance from Warren to find Boucher, and she found good points. That's what got her a good double-digit game against Manhattan. It's 18-10 Hofstra. Now it's Hofstra back with the ball. Got Valcourt going inside to Henry, and the ball is stripped away and it's picked up by Warren. And she tried a little spin move, and she is fouled. She nearly lost control of the ball, but she's able to force another foul. And it's another trip to the free throw line for Anastasia Warren. Well, both teams are over the limit, but it's obvious that Hofstra has committed more fouls than Stony Brook has. If you were here, you wouldn't completely tell, but it is the 10th foul of the first quarter. And that is the 3rd foul against Zahima Swift, who had that 3-point play that's given Hofstra their last 3 points, which was just a few minutes ago. And Warren will move to the free throw line again. First one is up. In and out, no good. Almost went in. Anastasia Warren is 8 of 10 so far from the free throw line this season. She's 2 of 12 from deep. Second free throw. And it goes in. It was going off the rim, but it hit the rectangle, and she has 3 points. 19-10 Stony Brook. Ball's tipped away in transition from Knight, and it's picked up by Scott. And Stony Brook with another forced turnover. Now Warren takes it on the top. That's like I said, defense continues to be a big factor for Stony Brook, and that's what they'll need against their opponents. Vargas Reyes trying to get it to Boucher. She couldn't. It was blocked, but she picked it back up. Vargas Reyes going back out to Jonay Cox. Scott moving over to the right wing, back over to Cox. To Warren left wing. They'll be able to reset with 10 left to shoot. Scott going back over to Warren left wing. She'll move it inside. Gets over to Boucher, taking a long jumper off the rim, but Cox picks up the rebound on the bucket. She'll get it over to Scott. Took a little bit of a bounce, but she gets it back. 16 left to shoot. Ball's tipped away, trying to find Vargas Reyes inside, and it's taken away by Vanderlee Valcourt. Now going over to Stony Brook, but it goes out of bounds. Micaiah Krosky, it looked like it was last touched by Warren, but the ball may have already been out of bounds before she made contact with the ball, so it'll be another turnover on Hofstra. Hofstra did a little good job with defense on that last possession, being able to force that turnover, but they couldn't get anything of their own, and Stony Brook has the ball with 47 seconds left to go. Lauren will slow it down. She's got to her left. She'll go to her. She'll find Cox over to the right wing now, and here's Vargas Reyes with it. Lauren with it, trying to spin move inside, and she double dribbled the ball. Almost had a chance to get it to Boucher on the bucket. That would have been another huge play, but instead, it'll be Hofstra ball. And Gonzalez will be ready to come back into the game on the next whistle. 4-second differential between shot clock and game clock for the Pride. Justini Knight trying to move it inside. She's going over against Henry. It's stolen away, and Lauren picks it up. And she'll slow it down. Shot clock is off, but she wants to go into Boucher anyway, and it's good. And they didn't want to waste the shot clock, and like that, Stony Brook has a 21-10 lead. Already the second time today we've seen Warren dish it to Boucher. And the ball going out of bounds off of Erlette Scott. Yes, it was. And Gigi Gonzalez will check in for the final 6 seconds of the first quarter. The Stony Brook up 21-10, and it looks like what they're doing seems to be right so far. Offense and defense likewise. So last 6 seconds, we'll see what Hofstra tries to do. Now try to get an inbound quickly. She gets it off for 5 seconds. Henry going on a long jumper. It's good. And that was a nice shot from a long distance. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter.